What happens when America's sweetheart finally snaps on live television? In just 37 seconds, one comment from Craig Melvin turned a routine morning interview into the most shocking walkout in today's show history. But before we get into this absolute disaster, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now, because we're pulling back the curtain on Hollywood's dark side, exposing entitled celebrities and their shocking behavior the cameras never showed you. We've got the raw footage they don't want you to see, and you won't want to miss a single reveal. Drop a comment below and let us know what you think about this outrageous behavior. So let me set the scene for you. Kelly Clarkson walks onto the Today Show set looking absolutely stunning. She's there to talk about her latest album, her tour, and her incredibly successful talk show. The studio audience is excited, the energy is high, and everyone's expecting your typical fun morning television moment. Craig Melvin is sitting there in his chair, and next to him are Savannah Guthrie, Hoda Kotb, and Al Roker. They're all smiling, waving to the cameras, doing their usual morning show routine. Kelly sits down on the couch, all smiles, ready to have a great conversation. Craig starts off the interview pretty normally. "Kelly Clarkson, everybody. So great to have you here this morning. Your new album is absolutely incredible. We've been listening to it all week long in the studio." Kelly lights up. "Thank you so much. That means the world to me. This album was really personal, you know? I poured my heart into every single song." Savannah jumps in. "We can definitely hear that. The emotion in your voice is just incredible. Tell us about the creative process. How did you approach this album differently?" Kelly starts explaining, "Well, I really wanted to be vulnerable this time. I wanted to write about real experiences, real heartbreak, real joy. I didn't want anything to feel manufactured or fake. I wanted my fans to hear me, the real me." Everything seems fine at this point. The conversation is flowing naturally. Al Roker is nodding along, Hoda is smiling warmly, and the audience is engaged. Then Craig leans forward with this weird smirk on his face. "So Kelly, I have to ask, your talk show has been doing really well, but let's be honest here. Do you ever feel like you're just copying Ellen? I mean, the dancing, the games, the celebrity interviews, it's all pretty much the same format, right?" You can literally see Kelly's face change. Her smile fades just a little bit, but she tries to stay professional. "Actually, Craig, I think every talk show has similar elements, but I work really hard to bring my own authentic voice to everything we do. My show is about connection and real conversations." Craig doesn't let it go. He actually laughs and looks at the other hosts. "Come on, though. You have to admit, there's not much original about it. You're basically doing what everyone else has done before you." Savannah looks uncomfortable. She tries to redirect. "I think what makes Kelly's show special is her warmth and her incredible talent. The musical moments are always so unique." But Craig cuts her off. Sure, but let's talk about something else. Kelly, you've been pretty open about your divorce. Don't you think it's a little inappropriate to air all that personal business on television? I mean, what about your kids? Don't they have to deal with everyone knowing their family's private matters?" The entire studio goes quiet. You can feel the tension immediately. Hoda's eyes go wide. Al shifts in his seat uncomfortably, and Savannah actually puts her hand up like she's about to say something. Kelly's face gets serious. Her voice is calm, but you can hear the edge in it. "Craig, my children are my #1 priority. Everything I share thoughtfully and with their well-being in mind. I've always been honest with my audience because I think it helps people feel less alone in their struggles." Craig shakes his head, and this is where it gets really bad. "I don't know, Kelly. It seems pretty selfish to me. You're making money off your personal trauma, and your kids are the ones who have to live with everyone knowing their business. That's not really fair to them, is it?" Kelly's jaw literally drops. Savannah immediately tries to intervene. "Craig, I don't think that's fair to say at all. Kelly has always been so thoughtful about what she shares, and..." Craig talks right over her. "I'm just saying what everyone's thinking. It's exploitation. You're exploiting your own family for ratings and sympathy. And honestly, the whole relatable single mom thing feels a little calculated, doesn't it?" Hoda jumps in now, her voice firm. "Okay, Craig, I think we need to move on to a different topic. This is completely inappropriate." But Craig keeps going. He's on a roll now and he won't stop. "No, I think we should talk about this. Kelly came on our show. She wants to promote her album and her talk show, but she can't handle a few honest questions? Come on, this is journalism. This is what we do." Al Roker actually stands up at this point. "Craig, this isn't journalism. This is you being unnecessarily harsh to a guest on our show." Kelly is sitting there, and you can see her hands are shaking a little. Her voice is steady though. Craig, I came here today as a professional to talk about my work. I didn't come here to be attacked about my personal life and my choices as a mother. I've been nothing but respectful, and this is how you treat me? Craig leans back in his chair with this smug expression. I'm not attacking you. I'm asking the questions that people want answers to. If you can dish it out on your own show, you should be able to take it when someone asks you real questions. Kelly stands up slowly. The camera zooms in on her face, and you can see she's fighting back tears, but she's also angry, really angry. You know what, Craig? I don't have to sit here and listen to this. I don't have to be disrespected on live television. I came here in good faith, and you've turned this into some kind of ambush. Savannah stands up too, reaching out toward Kelly. Kelly, please, we're so sorry. This is not how we conduct interviews. Please don't go. Hoda is nodding. We absolutely love you and respect you. This is not okay. But Kelly is already unhooking her microphone. No, I'm done. This is unacceptable. Craig, you should be ashamed of yourself. You don't get to judge my parenting. You don't get to question my authenticity. And you certainly don't get to sit there and act like you're doing some kind of hard-hitting journalism when really, you're just being cruel. Craig actually laughs. He laughs right in her face. Oh, so now I'm the bad guy because I asked you some tough questions? This is typical celebrity behavior. You want all the attention and the money and the fame. But the second someone holds you accountable, you run away. Al Roker walks over to Craig. That's enough. You need to stop talking right now. Kelly looks directly at Craig, and her voice is ice cold. You know what the difference is between asking tough questions and being a bully? Intent. Your intent here was to humiliate me. It was to make yourself feel superior. And that says everything about you and nothing about me. She turns to the audience. I'm so sorry you all had to witness this. I love my fans and I would never want to let you down. But I will not tolerate being treated this way by anyone, not even on live television. The audience starts clapping. They're actually applauding Kelly as she walks off the set. Some people are standing up, cheering for her. Savannah's face is bright red. She looks at the camera. We are so incredibly sorry. We need to take a commercial break. This is not how we treat our guests. This is not who we are. But before they can cut away, Craig speaks again. Oh, please, she's being dramatic. This is exactly what I was talking about. Everything is about her feelings, her emotions. She can't handle any criticism. Hoda turns on him. Her voice is shaking. Craig, stop. Just stop talking. You've done enough damage. Kelly is almost off the set now, but she hears him. She stops and turns around one more time. Dramatic? You just spent 10 minutes attacking me personally, questioning my parenting, calling me a copycat and an exploiter, and I'm the one being dramatic for refusing to sit there and take it? You're delusional. Al walks over to Kelly. Kelly, on behalf of all of us, I am so deeply sorry. This should never have happened. You were nothing but gracious and kind, and you were treated abhorrently. Kelly nods at him, tears finally falling down her face. Thank you, Al. I appreciate that. She looks back at Craig one last time. I hope you figure out whatever's going on with you that made you think this was okay. Because this isn't about me. This is about you and whatever issues you're dealing with. And then she walks off. Just like that, America's sweetheart, one of the most beloved voices in music, walks off the Today Show set because she was treated so terribly by someone who was supposed to be a professional interviewer. The camera stays on the remaining hosts. Savannah has her head in her hands. Hoda is staring at Craig with absolute disgust. Al is shaking his head. Craig sits there trying to justify himself. What? What did I do? I asked legitimate questions. If she can't handle the heat, maybe she shouldn't be in the spotlight. Savannah finally looks up. Craig, you didn't ask legitimate questions. You attacked a guest. You questioned her parenting. You called her work unoriginal. You accused her of exploiting her children. That's not journalism. That's cruelty. The audience is still buzzing. People are talking to each other. Some are filming on their phones. And you can hear murmurs of disbelief throughout the studio. Craig throws his hands up. I cannot believe you're all turning on me right now. I'm the one who's willing to ask the hard questions while you all sit here and kiss every celebrity's feet who walks through that door. Hoda's voice cuts through. There's a difference between hard questions and personal attacks, Craig, and what you did was cross every single line. You embarrassed this show. You embarrassed all of us. And you hurt someone who did nothing wrong. Al adds, Kelly Clarkson is one of the kindest, most talented, most genuine people in this industry. Everyone knows that. And you just tried to tear her down on live television for no reason. Craig stands up now, getting defensive. For no reason? She's out there making millions talking about her divorce, her struggles, putting her whole life on display, and I'm not allowed to question that? That's ridiculous. Savannah stands up and faces him directly. She shares her story to help other people. She's vulnerable and honest because she wants her fans to know they're not alone. That's compassion, Craig. That's empathy. Something you clearly don't understand. The tension between the hosts is unbelievable now. This isn't just about Kelly anymore. This is about the entire dynamic of the show falling apart in real time. Craig looks at the camera. You know what? Fine. Everyone wants to defend Kelly Clarkson? Go ahead. But I stand by what I said. Someone needed to ask her those questions. Hoda cuts him off. No, Craig. No one needed to ask her those questions because they weren't questions. They were attacks disguised as questions. There's a massive difference. You can see the production crew scrambling in the background. People are running around. Someone's talking frantically into a headset, and the whole thing is chaos. Al tries to address the audience. Ladies and gentlemen, we apologize for what you just witnessed. This is not the kind of show we run, and this is not how we treat our guests. Kelly Clarkson is a remarkable artist and person, and she deserves so much better than what happened here today. The audience claps again. They're clearly on Kelly's side. Some people are even booing toward Craig. Craig looks around at everyone, at his co-hosts who are all united against him, at the audience who's clearly not supporting him, and you can see something shift in his expression. But instead of apologizing, he doubles down. You know what? I don't need this. If no one here can handle real talk, if everyone's too sensitive to have an actual conversation, then maybe I'm on the wrong show. Savannah's eyes flash. Real talk? Craig, you called a guest an exploiter. You questioned her fitness as a mother. You mocked her career. That's not real talk. That's you being needlessly cruel to someone who's done nothing to you. Hoda nods. And the fact that you can't see that, the fact that you're standing here defending what you did instead of apologizing, that tells us everything we need to know. The camera keeps rolling, capturing every single second of this complete meltdown. The Today Show, one of America's most beloved morning programs, is imploding right before everyone's eyes. Craig points at the camera. To everyone watching at home, don't let them fool you. Kelly Clarkson walked off because she couldn't handle being asked real questions. That's the truth. Al steps between Craig and the camera. That is not the truth. The truth is that a talented, kind guest was ambushed by hostile questions that had nothing to do with why she was here. She was here to talk about her music, her art, her passion. Instead, she was attacked. The production team finally manages to cut to commercial, but the damage is done. The entire interview, the walkout, the fight between the hosts, all of it was broadcast live to millions of people. Backstage, according to people who were there, Kelly was surrounded by staff members apologizing profusely. Producers were trying to convince her to come back, offering apologies, promising that Craig would apologize on air. But Kelly refused. One crew member said Kelly was crying but also visibly angry. She kept saying, "I don't deserve this. I've never been anything but kind to everyone. Why would he do that to me?" Her team quickly got her out of the building. They didn't want her to have to face any more cameras or questions. They just wanted to get her somewhere safe where she could process what had just happened. Meanwhile, back on the set after the commercial break, Savannah addressed the situation. "We want to apologize again to Kelly Clarkson and to all of you watching. What happened during that interview was unacceptable and does not reflect the values of this show or this network." Hoda added, "Kelly, if you're watching, we are so sorry. You are an incredible artist and an amazing person, and you deserve so much better." Al nodded. "We hope you'll give us another chance to welcome you properly in the future." Craig was noticeably absent from the rest of that broadcast. He had been asked to leave the set. The remaining hosts had to carry on with the show, interviewing other guests and doing segments, but the energy was completely off. Everyone watching could tell something major had just happened. Social media immediately exploded. Within minutes, hashtags were trending. People were posting clips of the confrontation, of Kelly walking off, of the hosts arguing with each other. The overwhelming majority of people were on Kelly's side. Comments flooded in, calling Craig disrespectful, calling him a bully, demanding he be fired. People shared their own stories of meeting Kelly and how kind she had been. They talked about how her openness about her divorce had helped them through their own difficult times. Some people tried to defend Craig, saying he was just doing his job, asking tough questions. But even those comments were met with backlash. People pointed out that there's a difference between tough questions and personal attacks. Music industry professionals started weighing in. Other talk show hosts expressed their support for Kelly. Fellow musicians posted messages of love and solidarity. Even people who had been on the Today Show before started sharing their own experiences, talking about how uncomfortable some interviews had been. The whole thing became a massive conversation about how celebrities are treated in interviews, about boundaries, about respect, about the difference between journalism and harassment. Kelly's fans organized. They started campaigns to support her, to show her love, to make sure she knew that people saw what happened and they were on her side. They flooded her social media with kind messages. They streamed her music, pushing her album higher on the charts. Back at the Today Show, the mood was somber. Staff members were in meetings. Executives were trying to figure out how to handle the fallout. The other hosts were dealing with their own emotions about what had happened. Savannah reportedly told producers that she had never been so embarrassed in her entire career. She felt terrible that a guest had been treated that way on their show. She felt angry that she hadn't been able to stop it sooner. Hoda was equally upset. She had always prided herself on creating a warm, welcoming environment on the show. To have that shattered by one person's behavior was devastating to her. Al kept saying he should have intervened earlier. He wished he had shut Craig down the moment he started making those inappropriate comments. The thing is, everyone could see it happening. Everyone could feel the interview going wrong, but it happened so fast, and Craig was so relentless that by the time anyone could really step in, Kelly had already decided she'd had enough. And honestly, who could blame her? She sat there and tried to answer his questions professionally at first. She tried to defend herself calmly, but when someone keeps attacking you, keeps questioning your character, keeps insulting you on live television, there comes a point where you have to stand up for yourself. That's what Kelly did. She stood up for herself. She refused to be treated that way. And in doing so, she showed millions of people that it's okay to set boundaries. It's okay to walk away from situations where you're being disrespected. It's okay to demand better treatment. That's why so many people connected with what she did, because we've all been in situations where someone has made us feel small, where someone has attacked us unfairly, where someone has crossed lines they shouldn't have crossed, and we've all wished we had the courage to stand up and walk away. Kelly did that. On live television, in front of millions of people. She valued her self-respect more than she valued staying in an uncomfortable situation to please others. And that's powerful. Craig, on the other hand, showed everyone exactly who he was in that moment. He showed that he was willing to hurt someone to make himself feel important. He showed that he valued getting attention more than he valued treating people with kindness. He showed that when called out for his behavior, he would double down instead of apologizing. The contrast couldn't have been clearer. Kelly, gracious and professional until pushed too far, standing up for herself with dignity. Craig, aggressive and disrespectful, refusing to take accountability for his actions. And the other hosts, Savannah, Hoda, and Al, they showed their true colors too. They stood up for Kelly. They called out Craig's behavior. They didn't let him get away with pretending he was just doing journalism. They recognized what was really happening and they spoke up about it. That whole interview became a perfect example of what happens when someone abuses their position of power. Craig had the platform. He had the microphone. He had the authority as the interviewer. And he used all of that to try to tear down someone who had done nothing wrong. But what he didn't count on was that Kelly had power too. She had the power to leave. She had the power to refuse to participate in her own humiliation. She had the power of her own voice and her own choices, and she used that power beautifully. The thing about moments like this is that they reveal truth. They pull back the curtain and show people who everyone really is when the pressure is on. And what this moment revealed was that Kelly Clarkson is exactly who she's always appeared to be. Genuine, kind, strong, and unwilling to be mistreated. It revealed that Craig Melvin, at least in that moment, was willing to be cruel for attention. It revealed that Savannah, Hoda, and Al are decent people who won't stand by while someone is being attacked. This wasn't just a celebrity drama moment. This was a real situation where real people showed their real character, and millions of people watched it happen live, unable to look away from the train wreck unfolding before their eyes. The interview that was supposed to be a fun promotion for Kelly's album turned into one of the most talked about television moments of the year. But not because of anything Kelly did wrong, because of everything Craig did wrong. Kelly handled herself with grace under pressure. Even when she was crying, even when she was angry, she expressed herself clearly and stood her ground. She didn't yell, she didn't curse, she didn't throw anything. She simply stated her boundaries and left when those boundaries weren't respected. That's the kind of behavior that deserves respect. That's the kind of response that shows real strength. Anyone can sit there and take abuse. It takes courage to stand up and say, no, this isn't okay. I'm leaving. And that's exactly what Kelly Clarkson did on the Today Show. She drew a line. She protected herself. She showed the world that even America's sweetheart has limits, and when you cross those limits, there are consequences. The whole thing was a masterclass in self-respect. Every person watching learned something that day. They learned that it's never okay to let someone disrespect you just because they have a platform. They learned that walking away is sometimes the strongest thing you can do. They learned that supporting someone who's being attacked is the right thing to do, just like Savannah, Hoda, and Al did. Most importantly, they learned that Kelly Clarkson is the real deal. She's not just playing a character. She's not pretending to be relatable. She's actually a real person with real feelings who deserves to be treated with real respect. And when she wasn't given that respect, she didn't pretend everything was fine. She called it out and she left. That's the story of what happened when Kelly Clarkson walked off the Today Show. It's a story about respect, boundaries, accountability, and courage. It's a story that needed to be told because it shows exactly what's wrong with how celebrities are sometimes treated in the media. Craig thought he could get away with being cruel because Kelly was there to promote something. He thought she would just sit there and take it because that's what guests are supposed to do. He was wrong, and he found out he was wrong in the most public way possible. This moment will be remembered for a long time. Not as the time Kelly Clarkson had a meltdown, because that's not what happened, but as the time Kelly Clarkson stood up for herself against someone who thought he could tear her down, as the time she showed everyone watching that you don't have to accept mistreatment from anyone, no matter where you are or who's watching. That's the real story here. That's what people will remember. Kelly Clarkson walked off the Today Show because she refused to be disrespected. And in doing so, she earned even more respect from millions of people who saw exactly what happened and knew she made the right choice.